How's everyone doing? This is your boy. Well, we're going to have a lot of things coming down the pipe the next couple of days, actually. What it seems to be is EBT or SNAP. Many people ain't going to be getting this. Benefits are being cut, is my point. I did a short, and I got some mixed reviews about that. It was a short about people need to have a heart. You know, not everyone on these type of programs is like, I mean, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of them that are fat. No, not fat, but that's beside the point. My point is this, there's a lot of people who are lazy, fat, greedy. You know, I'm talking about, unfortunately, there's quite a few that are just, like I said, bear with me here. Will this work or will this not? Hang on here. There we go. Anyway, as I was saying, you do have a lot of that out there. Like I said, I mean, and I have very little respect for these individuals. You know, these individuals who legitimately cannot, they choose to basically be big bloated parasites. You have those. You do. Oh, God, you do. Let me tell you something. You also have people who legitimately, you have people that are working and needing help. You know what I'm saying? So my point is, don't throw out the baby with the bathwater, if you get my drift. That's why I was meaning by have a heart. And there were a couple of people who were like, you know, I never had to have help or anything like that throughout my life. Well, fair enough. That's you. That's you. And I told these individuals, I was like, if you don't understand and you're willing to just preach and gesture at them, you're part of the problem. And I stand by that. I mean, really, that ain't my concern. My opinion stands. You're part of the problem. Grow up and stop being part of the problem. There's a reason I'm saying this. There's things that that are going to be happening, and we're going to need to watch out for each other, man. We really do, all of us. You know, that's where people have forgotten their decency and humanity. They don't. Like I said, if someone needs help, help them within reason. I'm not talking about let someone run over you. That's silly and foolish. But someone needs a hand, help them. But I'm going to get off the high horse about that. I've said all I need to. But I am going to tell you guys this. There's going to be a lot coming down the pipe. And I would not be surprised if we see some definite unrest. And this is where there's obviously this is going to be a conspiracy piece. I see it like this. You have two sides in the government. Neither one really wanting to do anything except, fight against the other. And it's a hot mess. And who's suffering? People like you, people like me, all of us are suffering and paying the price for it. And that's not a good thing. My advice to you guys is prepare as best you can. Create some kind of communication with your neighbors if you can. If you can't, sometimes, you just have to rely on God. And I know that sounds hollow. I know it does. But I'll be honest, there's been times I've had to rely on him. Recently, as a matter of fact, since my father passed away. And just things I've seen have definitely solidified my faith. Leave it at that. So I know he will help you. Make no mistake on that. He will. If you call out to him, he will help you. I mean, to be honest, someone may say, whatever. Well, that's your issue, to be blunt. But at the same time, we need to look out for each other, more now than ever. Now, why are they doing this? To me, it's deliberate in some ways. Because you have people on one side just refusing to budge, and the people on the other side, they're like, hey, let's do this. And the other people are like, all right, let's just go ahead and, keep this anarchy that we've had going on, and let's make it worse. And to me, it's just basically people acting like idiots. And on the other hand, you have people, literal human garbage, and yes, I said it, human trash. Stuff that ain't even, basically worth what comes out of my dog, if you know what I'm talking about. Threatening to loot, steal, murder. I don't care what color your skin is. You're willing to do that, you ain't worth much. You're just that. You ain't worth what comes out of my dog. Period. Now, if I offended someone, get over it, because it's the truth. We all know that. My point is this. This is what I want you guys to be careful about. Look out for people who are willing to exploit this. You know what I'm saying? There was a it was on a podcast I heard years ago. The main guy was he was talking with a criminal in prison, and this dude didn't have much scruples because obviously he's criminally very intelligent, but also criminal. And he was like, you know what, man? We see this as economic opportunity when it comes to things like that. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. You guys need to be making sure you are prepared. If you're smart, if you can, make sure you don't go alone. And if sometimes you have to, make sure you're armed and make sure you're not taking any mess from people. Because these people, these individuals, these sacks of human refuse, they ain't going to give a damn about you. You can't afford to really give much of a damn about them. My point is protect yourself. Do what needs to be done to make sure you and your family and your own are safe. Period. There ain't nothing else to say about that. But this is by design, I think. Think on this. You will own nothing and be happy. That's another thing I think is definitely being carried out at this point. Why is it that so many of these extreme individuals, they're saying, oh, eat bugs and all that. They're trying to get that set up with the so-called order they're trying to roll out. They've been trying to do it for years. Why is that? It's not that they're trying to clean up the environment or anything like that. That's what they see us as, bugs, insects. And in their minds, it's a comically disgusting thing, but the way they see it, insects eating insects, think about that, man. That's kind of disgusting, don't you think? And, of course, not owning anything and being happy, well, of course, they want everything. They don't want you to have nothing. And if you go against their little agenda, I guess, or paradigm, that's what they want. I got to be careful of what I put on YouTube for obvious reasons. Last thing I need is this stupid video being taken down. But my point is this. I kind of have a luxury of being able to speak on these things because I'm not too worried about being monetized. I do this because it's something I enjoy. And you guys already know, like I said, my opinion on things. But like I said, you guys need to be prepared, especially come November 1st. Now, Trump he said he might change some things. I'm actually looking forward to seeing what comes out of that because I'm just interested in human nature anyway. We're going to see a lot of characters. My point is a person's character being revealed one way or the other, whether it be good or bad. And that I'm looking forward to seeing. It's just like I said, that's kind of my fascination with human nature. But be ready. Be prepared. Because let me tell you, we're all going to have to be. Pray, keep faith in the Lord. That's the most important thing you can do. You have to trust Him. And it's hard to do. Man, good God, it's hard to do. I understand that, believe me. Especially being scared. These are uncertain times. You cannot afford to give in to fear. That's one thing I'll tell you right now. You cannot afford to do that because when you do, and you get myself, that's it. I'm going to give myself a good shave in a minute. Or maybe not, it doesn't matter. My point is this. You need to be, you need to have faith in the Lord. Trust in Him. And I promise you, you will be all right. At the same time, use common sense. Just don't let yourself be caught off guard by what could be happening. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it seems more and more likely that it's going to. Now, a lot of these idiots are like and I'm no stranger to this. You got to remember, guys, I used to be a troll. When I was in my 20s, I was one of the most horrible trolls to walk this earth. I'm not proud of it, but I'm being honest about it. So I kind of see this more than many other people do. And yes, a lot of these idiots like on TikTok, Twitter, well, not Twitter, that's X now, but TikTok and other things, yes, even on X, are being idiots and saying, yeah, we're going to do this and do that. Well, they ain't going to do nothing. They're just going to sit on their fat butts. And like I said, they make money, but from the clicks and the views. Don't fall for what I call rage bait, or a new term, hate bait. Don't fall for that. But you also have real pieces of human crud that are going to be trying to do whatever they can out of this situation. Protect yourself, protect your own. Do what you need to do, man. I know I'm going to. I just want to put that out there. And trust in the Lord. Don't be trusting in daddy government too much. Now, I ain't saying they ain't done a good job in some cases. Like I said, they have in some cases. And you have good people, real good people that are in the government. But at the same time, you can't rely on them too much. You know what I'm saying? You got to, at least when it comes to what's coming out. So, like I said, protect yourself, protect your family. And for those that are legitimately needing it, not you know what I'm trying to say. Put them in your prayers, because there's going to be a lot of people going hungry and a lot of people legitimately needing help. I ain't saying be weak, but have a heart and just be willing to do what needs to be done, with however you can do it. That's all I know how to say right now, man, but this needs to be said. You guys be blessed and you be safe, all right?